Thank you, Michelle. Thank you. So we're going to, for the next 15 minutes, get a little sticky here. How many people here represent brands? Okay, good. And how many people are involved in agencies or part of agencies? Okay, this will be most relevant for the folks here. Just a little background. I think it'd be good to start with a little trivia question. Does anyone know who this person is? And don't be shy. A few hints. He was born here. Not here, but in Philadelphia. Usually when someone from Philadelphia usually gets this right. Who said that? You are the winner. It's a $25 Starbucks certificate. If Diana's here, she'll get it to you. Why did I bring up John Wanamaker? Over 100 years ago, he had a saying that 50% of my advertising works, I just don't know which half. This was 150 years ago he said this. It hasn't changed much. There's billions and billions of dollars spent. It's very difficult to measure, and we're specifically I'm going to talk about brands. If you're doing direct response and you're selling a product, you can measure clicks, you can measure sales. But when it comes to branding, it's extremely difficult online to know where my money's working, how do I optimize, what's my return. And typically it's being bought on a CPM basis. And the challenge is that no one's buying a McDonald's burger online or a Coke online. And about 96%, 94% of all branding dollars is offline. Only 6% is online. And the big reason there's a problem is because it's difficult to measure. Real briefly about our company, Michelle mentioned we won a bunch of awards. A company in Sweden called Tobii started our company in 2009 when the understanding for eye tracking, the only way to leverage scalability and affordability with eye tracking is going to be done through the webcam. So they financed our company. Originally we were called Eye Track Shop, and then one of our largest clients located in Cincinnati asked us if we could tell them which one of their ads are seen and not seen on their branding dollars. We said yes. They said, well, that would tell us what our sticky ads are. So we immediately realized the opportunity. We rebranded ourselves as Sticky, and it's been an amazing journey just in the last 6-8 months. We do an optimization of online branding that really no one's been able to do before. And I'm going to try to keep it very, very simple and just show examples. And then I'm going to leave a little more time for questions because I seem to always get a lot of them. The IAB online, they came out with a term, and for the last 2 or 3 years, it's been pushed, viewability. I'm sure everyone, if you're doing any online branding, you know about viewability. The definition is where at least 50% of the ad unit is in screen for 1 second. That's considered a viewable ad. Now, the challenge is, and I think ComScore just came out with this a week or so ago, they said 54% of every online ad not only is not seen, has no potential to be seen. It is never even ever in the screen of the viewer. The rest of those ads are what are called viewable ads. The challenge with viewable ads is just because they're viewable doesn't mean they're seen. And we've done over 450,000 respondents. And how many people think 75 to 100% of people saw this ad? Can we tell which ads are seen or not seen? And we said yes. I'm going to share with you some outputs to show how optimization is done. Now, the reason this is important for brands, it's a way to optimize your branding campaigns. Why is this important for agencies? Every agency that works with us came from a client. And the agencies, 2 big things they're telling us now is 1, they can bring more value to their clients. And 2, they can now for the first time negotiate with publishers in a way they never could before with facts. You know, typically they buy CPM and that's it. See if this is So if you look from left to right, when we get to about here, you're going to see the brand. You're going to see the website it was on, the ad unit, how much money was spent, how many impressions were bought. And then you have NCPM, which is the net CPM that they paid. And what we are able to do is tell them what percentage of people saw it, and then you take the percent, divide it into how much was spent, and you get the NCPV. CPV is cost per viewed. Was it seen? And as you can see, hopefully you can see, it's pretty big. On the first line, there's a $4 CPM, and 45% of the people saw it, so they're really paying $9 per 1,000 to be seen. The next row, the next column you'll see is impact, and that basically tells you how long did they look at the ad. So you'll see from a half a second all the way down to the second to the last is 2.6 seconds. And then we'll give you a total of how many impressions were seen and how many hours were spent looking at the brand. Now, this campaign actually did quite well. If you look on the top left, there's two green buttons here. 66% of these ads were seen, which is much higher than the norm. Typically they're saying 54% aren't seen. And you'll see also that the $7 CPM was the average, and $11 cost per view was what the campaign ran. The next slide is going to show, this is a smaller campaign, and you'll see that on the left-hand side, it's CPV, low, medium, high. What is the cost to be seen? And across the top is impact. How long did they look at the ad? We try to keep things very simple. We're a big believer in the KISS, keep it short and sweet. And you'll see that 3 of these ad units, the 12.8 is the percent of the ad buy. So about 38% of this ad buy was not performing well. And you can see that one ad was performing very, very well. So then what we do basically is we have a dashboard, and the next slide will show that, where you move the ads that aren't being seen, costing too much, into the ad units that are. And the dashboard's very simple. You'll see here that you can basically move whatever units you want into the ones you don't want into the ones you do want. And then you'll see what happens here by just moving these red ones into the green area. We had a 36% more impressions seen with no change in budget. The cost to be seen went down 26%. And the number of hours spent looking at the brand, 79% increase, almost doubled. No change in budget. So this is why agencies like this, because they can be heroes with their clients. And obviously brands like it because they're getting a better value for what they're spending. A few other ways that people use it. Agencies don't use it this way, but our typical clients are usually clients first, then it goes to the agency. Some clients want to lower their cost, want to lower what they spend. So they move a percentage of the low-performing units into the higher ones. And this is an example where they lowered their ad buy 13%, and they increased 17% the number of ads seen, and 49% the amount of time spent looking at their ad. So almost a 50% increase, and they saved money. Those in the brands, everyone's looking how to optimize. And in branding, there really has never been a way. There's a few other ways that people are using it. This is L'Oreal. They wanted to test not only how the ads are doing, but how sites are doing. So they ran the same exact ad units on 2 different sites. And it was really clear which site was working and which wasn't. We're testing right now the top 200 sites in the US and the top 200 sites in the UK, their main ad units. We're typically targeting the high CPM, the prime real estate on the sites. So in this case, you can see right away, these 2 units weren't working, which is almost 50% of the ad buy. And by repositioning these, you can see it was a massive 35% increase number of ads seen, cost went down 26, and the 68% more time spent. And they realized that there was a site that wasn't working. What's going to end up happening, we've been doing this for 6 months now on the top 200 sites. Eventually, it's going to help to understand how good creative is. We're going to have norms for these top ad units on 200 sites, and you're going to be able to tell this, we'll take New York Times, this ad unit has this score. So if you score below it, you need to talk to your creative agency. And if you're scoring above it, you have good creative. Sony, similar thing, where basically it was 6 different ad units, and they almost doubled the amount of time spent just by optimizing the campaign. Typically, the campaigns we work with are 3 to 5 months. The results come back after a week, and then they're optimized constantly. Google uses us on YouTube ads. Typically, people are not clicking on YouTube ads to buy things, but from a branding point of view, they want to be able to tell their clients how well they're doing versus other YouTube ads. They've actually created their own norm just for Google YouTube ads. And maybe they're not getting click-throughs, but people are seeing the brand. And that's what they're using this for. They've told us to be able to raise rates on people based on the insights that we're giving them. AOL was our first publisher to use it. As you can imagine, publishers are not jumping up and down for this because if you have a good site where your ad units are being seen, what's going to end up happening, you're going to be able to raise your CPMs. But unfortunately, it works the other way. If you have a site where people aren't seeing it, you're either going to have to reposition your ads or change your CPMs. And the agencies right now are really having fun negotiating now because they have hard data. And in this particular case, AOL they just came out with this devil ad last year. I don't know if anyone's familiar with it, this massive ad. As you scroll, it stays with you. And they wanted to justify the higher cost. So they tested it versus other ad units on their own and competitor sites. The way it works, it's fairly simple. Again, we take the media buy, and we target the branding ads, which ones are seen, which aren't seen. Now, we do it 3 different ways. Some clients want to target a specific group. We did an ad recently that was done in 4 countries targeting females 25 to 49. And in this case, we actually use panels and push the ad to the people on the panel so it fits the target group. The other way is with an ad tag, and then what we're working on now is working with publishers to give them data on their site so that we can have a pop-up on their site. And that's really simply how it works. We recruit from the panel or from the browser plugin. The data is recorded. We process the data. It goes into the normative, the database, plus we have our dashboard. You log into your dashboard, and you optimize. And I'm a minute early because we are a big believer in keeping things simple. So I want to thank you very much. If there's any questions, feel free to ask.